Hello, everybody. My name is Foshin. We're with AmericanCivilDebate.com. Today, we're here with Matt again, and I can't thank you enough, Matt, for keep on coming over.
It's not a problem.
Today, what are we going to talk about?
I'm talking about kids of today versus kids of the past, and if society's making them grow up too quickly or force them to become more mature than what they need to be, kind of becoming like a man of the house when you're 12 years old or anything like that.
Okay, let's talk about that. I think they do make kids grow up too quick these days.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I mean,
without a doubt.
I mean, you look at it where kids are always playing video games, and then, I don't know. I think video games have hurt this country a lot. I mean,
hey, I play my fair share of video games, and I enjoy it. Like, I'll play 1 to 2 rounds, and then I'll probably spend 30 minutes a day playing video games, and then at that point, I'm like, all right, I've had enough. I can't play anymore.
Yeah, but do you think parents send their kids out to play and do normal things like going outside, throwing the football?
Well, that's kind of one of those things of how you look at society now because of how everything's going down. Society is a lot different place from even when I was growing up 10 years ago than what it is today, and versus what you grew up doing.
Well, I mean, I grew up on a farm, a horse farm. So we rode horses. We went out and tipped cows over. We had a good time. I mean, I got treated by a bull one time when we were out there messing with the cow, or thought it was a cow, and it was a bull.
Yeah, and I mean, when I was in summers in Georgia with my dad, he'd pack me a lunch in the morning and send me out with the 22 and just go have fun. And I don't want to see you until dinner. That was how I spent my summer every single day, outside doing something.
Right. So do you think kids don't do that anymore?
No, not at all.
Isn't that sad? I mean, I remember growing up on the farm, riding horses. We had our friends, and, I mean, we'd go out and we'd do stupid things. We played, everybody got paintballs. We used to go out there and shoot each other, and then we got wild hares and started shooting at cars or throwing water balloons off the top of the roof on the country road.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. I guess, I mean, like when you were growing up, and you went up to North Georgia when you were, in between, like for the summers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what? I mean, I guess North Georgia was a fun place. I don't know about like other places.
Like now, it's not. But when you're a kid, it's fun because I mean, we lived on 60 acres. We had plenty of things to go do. There were 4-wheelers, side by sides. Just go out and explore and have fun.
Right. I mean,
I was one of those things. And I mean, even when I lived in Buckingham for a long time. We lived in a neighborhood full of kids, and it was still being developed as Buckingham itself. There weren't a lot of houses out there, so we had the canals in the backyard. We had farms every which way you looked, and we would go out at 8 o'clock at night and play manhunt. And
so we did the same
15 kids outside playing manhunt, and nobody cared, nobody worried because if you weren't coming back, you were with 15 other people, so you knew what was going to happen. Exactly.
Right. I mean, like us, we used to go to Dahlonega. I mean, when I first got my driver's license, we drove up Dahlonega and went into the one that, you remember the old copper mines?
Yep.
Where you could drive into the one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God, that was so fun. And then, they got a couple caves. We went into one time, and I guess they had red candles in there, which means I guess somebody was having a satanic ritual, which that was kind of new to me because they had some weird things going on in there.
I've never encountered that, and I'm kind of honestly glad I didn't because one thing I do not mess with is spirits because I believe that they are real, and whether they're good or bad, I've had my fair share of experiences.
Well, like me, we took Kendrick up there a couple times. Well, I mean, we did stupid things. I mean, 16, 17 years old, we couldn't go drinking, we couldn't go to the bar, so we didn't.
I mean, you had somebody to get your beer, though.
No, we didn't. We didn't. No, honestly, we really didn't do that. We went out and we just had a good time. We went. I mean, I guess around 18 or 19, I had other friends, and they had always their dad would get them beer. You know what I mean? And we'd go to the lake.
Well, so my parents were the same way. They were like, we don't care if you have beer. It's just if you have beer, you're staying at the house and you're not going anywhere.
Right.
You're staying here so that we can watch you, make sure you're safe and everything like that. And you don't have that now. A lot of kids or a lot of parents want to kind of restrict what their kids will do. And when you restrict what your kids want to do, that's when the rebellious stage happens. They start sneaking out, getting in trouble, and everything like that. That's what I believe.
See, I never did that though. I didn't do that. I mean,
but see, your parents didn't. Your parents were like, you can't stay over at anybody's house. You can't
no, they never
go
did
out
that.
and pass. Like I get curfew. That's perfectly fine. But I'm saying like they weren't like, okay, you can have a beer every now and then or something like that. Your parents didn't restrict you as far as other parents restrict their kids. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, no, I mean, I had friends that were rebellious. I'm 49 years old, but when I was 16, 17, it's like watching all my friends, and they, everybody goes girl crazy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I watched two of my friends accidentally, they had sex with people, and they knocked up a girl. And then they ended up getting married at 17, 18 years old, and they were divorced about 6 months later because the girl's with somebody else. They do a DNA testing, and then guess what? It's another person's baby, and they just wasted. I mean, I never got into all that. I really didn't. Like me and you were talking, and I think Jay and a couple other people. I didn't have sex until I was about 20, 21 years old.
Well, also, what I want to talk about a little bit is that you grew up differently than I did. You spent all your time in North Georgia. That's where you're from.
Right.
I'm from Augusta, and then moved down here when I was younger, and then just spent a little bit of time up there. But you got to look, and in the eyes of Cape Coral is not a young person's town at all. It's one of those things. It's more catered to middle-aged people to older people because of the golf courses.
Well, that's a lot of Florida, though. That's a lot of Florida.
Exactly.
That's where everybody comes to retire.
And that's how you got to look at it, too. You got to look at it from both sides. I know when I was in high school, we used to go out to the woods a lot.
Right.
I skipped school the day I got my license and the day I got my truck, and I got my truck stuck the first day I ever had it. Going out to the woods, and then I had to call one of my buddies. So I got it stuck around 10 o'clock in the morning. I had to wait till school let out to call one of my buddies to come pull me out.
Ooh. I don't know. I guess, I mean, we all grow up differently. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of country folks out there. There's a lot of mountain people out there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I met a friend. He was a mountain climber. He was on Climb Magazine, Charlie Gardner. And he took me spelunking a couple times. And
no idea what that is.
It's caving. It's going
okay.
into caves. They call it spelunking. But I remember we had to rappel down. I think it was like 120 feet. So we had to rappel down in this hole. And then we had to crawl about 1,000, or not 1,000. We'll say about 600 or 700 feet. And this is in Alabama. We got there at midnight. I think when we came out, we had and it was freezing out. I mean, the cave was nice. I mean, once you get in the cave, you're kind of peeling off some of your
layers and everything. Yeah.
But I mean, it was so neat because we're in there with our with our lights and stuff like that. I mean, I got to go on the Appalachian Trail a couple times. I camped out with a girl that I met at UGA. Her name was Laura. I won't say her last name, but that was kind of fun. I don't know. I mean, I guess I had a different childhood. I mean, my dad, if I did something wrong, my dad beat the hell out of me.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like, I guess it's not like today's times where your parents didn't wear your ass out. I mean, I'm sure your dad wore your ass out.
My dad and my mom. Like, I think everybody in my family wore my ass out if I did something wrong.
See, that's what I mean.
Nobody puts the fear of God in their children anymore. That's what it is.
I don't know. I think society has tried to go godless for a while, and we see what happens without the godless.
Yep.
I mean, to me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody's like, well, I'm an atheist, and it's like, well, that's cool. Good luck on that. You know what I mean?
Well, my thing is, my biggest thing, and I'll tell anybody this, whoever I meet at any point in my life, I don't care who you vote for, who you root for, who your God is, who you love, or anything like that. As long as you're not trying to force me into your ideals, I don't care.
Right.
Do whatever you want to do.
And I think, well, I mean, like, we grew up Catholic, so we'd go, and, like, our weeks were already planned out. Like, we went to youth group and stuff like that. And youth group on Wednesday night, and then we go on a weekend trip. And, of course, Louise, one of our youth group ladies, she would lock me in the back of her car because we always had the girls knocking on the windows in the back of the truck and trying to slip in. And I got in a lot. Me and John Akins and a couple other people, we got in trouble so many times. And I look
From
back at,
letting the girls in?
well, no, they'd lock us up. She had a key lock on that thing, and we couldn't get out of the back. This is like camping out. And then she finally, there were some pretty cool places like in Tennessee, North Carolina that we'd go to for a weekend or whatever, like a retreat. One had an indoor pool where we got to go swimming when it was like.
I did a lot of my adventure time when I was in the military, because I was stationed in North Carolina. So we ended up going to, Georgia's like a 4-hour drive away. South Carolina's like a 2-hour drive away. And like whenever we'd get a 4-day weekend, we'd go on a trip. We'd go up to the mountains. We'd go white water rafting. Went to Devil's Tramping Ground up in North Carolina. Never want to go back there again. We just kind of went everywhere. When that's when my more adventurous stage happened. We also went on the Appalachian Trail. We camped out there for a few nights.
Did you like their 3-sided cabins? Did you ever go where they had
No.
3-sided cabins where you can put you can bunk up? They got 3-sided cabins, and they got little places where you can put your sleeping bag so you're not sleeping on the ground or whatever. They had a little fire pit. It's pretty neat. I mean, I learned a lot from that guy, Charlie Gardner. Like, he was a survivalist, so I learned a lot from him. I mean, if I had to live in the woods, I could live in the woods. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, I think anybody really can if they wanted to. I mean, it's just survival. But nowadays, I don't think kids could do that. I mean, if we...
No, it's one of those things. I mean, if you were to put let's say a kid from 1985, and then a kid from 2015, same age, just drop them in the same spot, I guarantee you it would be night and day difference of how they react and do things differently.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, going back to where kids are growing up, I mean, I think cell phones, I think computers, and I think...
Let me ask you this real quick. What do you think is forcing them to grow up quicker than because... Excuse me. Technically, you don't become an adult till you're 18, right? Well, I guess now it's 21 because you can't buy tobacco or anything like that.
Right.
What do you think is forcing them to feel like they're growing up quicker than what society is a norm as?
Yeah, but when you're a teenager anyways, you want to grow up because you're all... I think a lot of teenagers out there, they're in the they get rebellious because their parents are putting down things. They're not letting them do what they want to do. I mean, you got people like the gal I'm dating, she's talking about she had to go and get her daughter from the cops, and the cops almost arrested her, and it's like, what in the world's going on here? I mean, like, my father had to go get my brother a long time ago. He got caught buying pot, and my dad went over there and got him, and my dad was drunk as shit coming out from the marina, and he got there, and that cop looked at my dad, and my dad was so pissed off at him having to go and pick him up. And that guy's like, and Joey's like, take me to jail, take me to jail, take me to jail. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home because my dad was going to whoop his freaking butt.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I didn't even do any of that. I didn't even do any of those kind of things. I mean, like, we used to go and play football, basketball.
You're just a weird kid then.
Well, no, but I mean, we went out. We went out and we played football with all the neighborhood kids, and then we started going to the high schools and playing against all the other people.
Yeah.
In basketball, we had church basketball, church volleyball. I mean, I think my parents had more of a structure for us, an organized structure. You know what I mean? I think.
Well, so would you contribute that to your dad's time in the military?
I mean, honestly, yes. And I'll tell you why. Because I remember cleaning my room up one time, and my dad came upstairs, and I'm like, all right, I got my room clean, blah, blah, blah. And my dad pulls out these white gloves, and I'm like, crap. And he wipes the blind, and he looks at it, and he's like, you ain't done yet. Went into my sister's bathroom, same thing. You can hear my sister, I want to go out. I want to do something. You know what I mean? So it was like.
I'll tell you this. I remember my mom telling me to clean my room. Saturday, I had nothing to do, no plans, nothing. Clean your room. I don't care how long it takes you. Clean your room correctly the way that I want it, and if it's not, I'm bringing the trash can in here, and I'm throwing away everything that's out of place. Everything that she bought me. Just to prove a point. And she did it one time. And ever since then, I made sure my room was spotless.
So I don't know. I mean, my dad never had to do that to me. I mean, here, honest to God. I mean, we used to go out and have BB war, fight or shoot each other with BB guns and stuff like that. But we never, you know what I mean? It's like we'd shoot at their legs. We never shot at the head.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it's always knees or below.
And the thing is, like, I don't know. Like, we had the Dust Bowl, and it used to be, the motorcycles could go back there, and there's water in some of those areas, and you'd jump them, and, I mean, I don't know. And then rope swings. It's like the rope swings. On Lake Lanier, we used to go rope swinging, and we'd make a big old
We did a lot of that in high school here, especially off the canals up in North Cape. There's still a lot of rope swings that are still there from us putting them there. I think you have one left in there. So, is there? Okay, perfect. And I remember when I was in Augusta visiting my grandma and, like, the rest of my family is that my cousin took me out to Chalk Hill. It's an old quarry, and they used to ride horses inside the big old quarry and dirt bikes and everything like that, and it was a very good time. It was very enjoyable. Thank you, sir.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we all have different childhoods.
Oh yeah. So there's different things to it, but it's kind of all the same. It's just how like when you grew up, it was horse and carriage, and when I grew up, the motor had been invented. So that's a big difference.
I'm only 49. My license says I'm 49, but I do remember the cars and crap. Of course, they were all not great cars or anything. I mean, what about in high school? I mean, like when you were in high school, how was your high school when you grew up?
So I would say, without any doubt, no matter what year you go through high school, you have your cliques. You always have the people who hang out with you have the rednecks with the rednecks. You have the popular kids with the popular kids. I hate to say it, but you got the weirdos with the weirdos. It's just one of those things. It's just how it goes and how it flows. That's how high school is. That's how high school is meant to be. I was one of the kids that went out and hung out with everybody. I didn't care.
See, that's the same way I was. I didn't follow a clique. I was more of an individual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think my parents taught me to be an individual. My sister hung out with all the rich kids. I just hung out with whoever. I mean, they allowed us to have smoke at Buford when I was going there. They had a smoking section, so all the kids would be out there smoking and stuff like that. And I never smoked cigarettes until I was about 21, 22 years old, too. So,
and then you got addicted.
Yeah, of course.
No, so like growing up in high school, I did golf and I did wrestling. And I was in drafting. I was in the manual drafting class. And I also did engineering. So I did things on computers. I did things.
So you played with the AutoCAD and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Same here. I did the same thing.
And then it was kind of all over for me because I like to build things. I like science and I did sports as well. So
did y'all have wood classes though?
I'm sorry?
Did y'all have wood class where you learned to cut with
we
a saw?
didn't have a wood class, but we had the engineering class that I was in. We would cut out things with lasers or because I knew my way around a shop, I knew how to work different tools. I was one of the very few people that was able to, excuse me again, sorry, operate the table saw, the hand saw, the circular saw, the miter saw, anything like that. I was one of the few people that was able to do it throughout the whole school.
No, we learned. I mean, I just remember watching this guy. He showed us how kickback from from a table saw.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day when you had a piece of plywood kick back and you moved out of the way just quick enough and it hit the wall behind you.
Yeah, but but you learned well, and our teacher showed us that right from the get-go. And a lot of times you're looking at that and you're like, man, I don't want that to happen to me. So you're sitting there keeping it where it's not going to float along for you.
You're off the side, and I still do this to this day. I don't care where I'm at. I will always have safety glasses on. I don't care what I'm doing. It's a different story with gloves. I don't like wearing gloves because I like being able to feel things,
right.
And that's
or the safety glasses.
Yeah. I mean, if we had a camera, you guys could see my weird finger that I dropped a manhole cover on. But I to this day, yesterday I was cutting down 2x4s and everything like that on the table saw, and I stand off to the side behind the fence with my arms spaced very evenly apart to where none of my fingertips or anything like that are close to the blade.
Yeah, but now you have a chop saw, so you can just lay it across. And
yeah,
saw.
I mean, we have a chop saw too, but it's easier just to set it and forget it, just to go with a table saw, and that's all you really have to worry about with it.
Or laying tile and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, going through high school with you, did y'all have a smoking section for the kids or no? No, okay.
Not at all. It was a no tobacco premises at all. Actually, I remember getting caught for having dip on me. I had a dip in during lunch, and principal came up.
Did y'all ever have gun scares too? I mean, like where somebody brought a gun to school?
Not through where I was at. I spent all my 4 years at that same high school. We never had one lockdown, no code red or anything like that with guns or bomb threats or anything like that. But going back to the dip story, this is actually kind of a funny one. So I had 2 cans of dip on me. One was getting empty and one was a brand new can, and it was Stoker's Mint. I was my favorite dip at the time. I had a dip in sitting on the bench in front of the office. Now, I went to a courtyard school, so everything was outside. Only the classrooms were inside.
Right.
And sitting there hanging out, and it was my fault for sitting in front of the office. But the principal came up, pulled me into his office, and he goes, "All right, I get it. Perfectly fine. It doesn't bother me, but I have to punish you somehow. So how many cans of dip do you have on you?" And I said 2. He goes, "All right, which one has less dip in it?" I showed him. The one had like a half a pinch left in it. And he goes, "All right, cool. I'll take that one. You put the other one in your backpack. I'm going to call your mom, let her know that you've been dipping." And that's the end of the day. No other worries or anything like that. And then I got home. My mom called me, and she goes, "Well, I figured you'd be dipping, but I figured it'd kind of be a little bit earlier, but don't dip inside the house."
So you got rosin about it, though. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody makes mistakes. I mean, I guess like fights in high school back in our day. I mean, mostly it was fist fights. Somebody pulled out a knife one time. I do remember that. I remember looking down. There was a piece of earring with a piece of ear to it. That was weird. But I don't think nobody ever had. I mean, people had guns in their truck, but they never went to go get the gun out of their truck because they knew better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I mean, I always carried a pocket knife on me, and I got yelled at one time by our resource officer. He goes, "Hey, like, you can't have that on campus. I will hold it for you until you get off campus, and then I'll give it back to you." But, like, excuse me again, it's one of those things where it's school has been, especially the campuses, have been brought down so much to what you can and can't have, especially because of the way society is today and how they react to things. Especially with everybody, with the police brutality and everything like that. It all weighs a factor in how high school is today.
So, I mean, we didn't even have a resource officer.
Yeah. And
I mean,
that's how things have changed. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, let's just go back and, like with kids and everything else these days, they're sitting there, they're on their computer. You tell them something to do. They call the police come. I mean, and these are the horror stories that I hear, and it's like, pick your kid up and spank the hell out of them.
My thing is, I will remember this to the day that I die, and this is the last thing I have to say before we close tonight. My dad always told me, if you ever call the cops on me for any reason at all, I will understand at certain points why you call the cops, but if you call the cops on me for punishing you for something wrong that you did, I will beat your ass until the cops get here, and then once I get out of jail, I will beat your ass more. Because it was pointless, and you were getting basically what...
A discipline.
You're getting disciplined, and you don't feel like you deserve to be disciplined. That's the only reason you call the cops.
No, my brother went through the same thing. He had DCF call because he spanked his kid, and DCF came out there. And my brother told him, he's like, "Look, you can take the kid with you, because if you don't, I'm going to beat the hell out of him again." You know what I mean? It's not...
Exactly. It's one of those things where the kids feel entitled. Like we were talking about yesterday, how my age group of people feel entitled to respect.
Right. I mean, and I deal with that. I've dealt with that with a couple people that I've worked with. Respect is earned. It's not you don't deserve respect. You earn your respect, and that's the way life's always about. It's at work, school, college, wherever you go.
Wherever you go, you have to earn your respect. Always.
And if you're a liar, you're a liar. Final thoughts, Matt.
Society's going to shit. Like I said, like 4 episodes ago. That's my final thought. Society is not the same as what it's been to. It's one of those things to where we're all becoming to find people like you and I. Honestly, even though I'm 80 years younger than you, it's hard to find unicorns like us. I hate to call your age out there, but it's one of those things where we're a rare breed to where our parents actually disciplined us, and in the aftermath, it affected how we were as adults to where we're law-abiding citizens and follow the rules and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, my final thought is this. If you're young, my father always taught me, don't lie. And you know what? I've done my share of lying. I'm not even going to lie to you about that because that would be a lie. But if you get caught in it, fess up, own up to it, and be done. Man up or woman up, whatever you got to do.
I do want to say this. Sorry to interrupt. My mom always told me, if you tell the truth, you'll get in less trouble than when you tell the lie.
Well, look, ask cops. Cops will say the same thing. You got drugs in the car? Well, no. And then they bring out the drug dog and they find a pound or a brick of, you know what I mean? It's like.
You got 7 kilos of coke in the trunk.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, you're going to jail. Oh, please, my mom and dad are going to kill me.
It's not mine.
Or my mom and dad is going to kill me. Well, no shit, Sherlock. You're going to probably get beat up by the inmates in jail, too. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. You got to, people, you're not entitled to everything in this country. You're not entitled to life. Life is, you got one life. You got to live it. You live it to the best of your ability. You treat people right.
You aren't given anything. Everything is earned.
Earned. Bingo. There you go. That's exactly what I wanted to say. So when you're out there, earn your respect. Earn your keep. You work hard. You come home. You get to have a beer if you like beer. If you like smoking pot, smoke pot, and enjoy your life. Everybody, please join us tomorrow. We're going to be on American Civil Debate. Our website is www.americancivildebate.com. No censorship. No selling off your information, and all you need is an email address to join. We will not fact-check you, and if people don't like what you write, who cares? Everybody enjoy your evening, and have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow.